Good morning. Thank you for joining me. This is the No Drama Nourishment Workshop. I want to first excuse the background noise. I do have a family, and so that's also it's part of my story. So you'll hear F1 going on in the background. You'll hear the iPad. I do have a 3-year-old, and I'm married to my husband, Glenn. And so there's noise here, and I just want to be open and honest about that. Honestly, you can probably relate to that if you are in the same situation where you have a family. I wanted to just start off with that. Um, if you don't know me, I'm Amanda. About 10 years ago, I started a wellness journey, not because I really had it all figured out, but because I felt overwhelmed, inconsistent, and just wanted to feel better in my own skin. These days, I'm really the one who does the majority of the cooking in our house. Just because of the schedule, my husband works a little bit later and I get out earlier, so it's me. And that really plays a role into how quickly our dinners come together, how complicated they are, because I'm just not really, I don't have that much time. And but I do know what it's like firsthand to juggle all of that chaos and still not allow it to be a reason why we're not going to eat healthy or fuel and nourish ourselves well. That's really the reason why I created my cookbook and a course in order to truly meet people where they are in any health journey. I work for Head Start, and I really believe that everybody deserves the opportunity to feel well, to be healthy, to eat healthy. And I also understand and realize that reality that food insecurity and access to healthy, nourishing foods is a problem. Um, Anyway, I really believe that everybody really deserves that chance. Every family deserves that chance to nourish themselves and their families with that food that fuels them. And in creating these resources, my hope and inspiration for it all is to be able to give everyone in all walks of life the ability to have that education and confidence to make choices that work for whatever it is their lives. That's really why we're here today. Um, I want to give back and I want to serve. So we're here and you get things for free. To show you simple recipes, so we're in my kitchen. Bear with me. I don't really know the best way or view to be able to do this because you're kind of like on my back counter here. But we're going to make it work, right? Really, the idea is to show you simple, realistic ways to fuel yourself and your family without drama, without overthinking it. Really, at one point, I was you. You know, I had to teach myself how to eat healthy in my late 20s and 30s until now. I'm almost 38. And I believe because of my own experiences that if I can make these shifts and change my life, then I know that so can you. Anybody can. So before we dive in, one thing that I have learned in working with hundreds of clients over 10 years is that if you're someone who says that they struggle with eating healthy or with meal prepping or meal planning or whatever it is, you have to start by shifting your mindset. You have to start really accepting that it is totally doable and changing the way that you speak about it and speak about yourself and your ability to handle this. So even when you're crunched for time, making fueling yourself and doing this work a non-negotiable, even if it's not perfect. And I'm going to show you that it won't look perfect all the time. I made a mistake and I didn't get the right thing at the store, and so I'm going to improvise and just show you how you can do that. Um, so it begins with changing the language from I suck at this to I am going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out a way to make it work with the access, whatever I have access to, right? Not mozzarella today for me. But right, if you don't have access to exactly the ingredients that I have in these, change it. Change it to what you do have access to. That's really what I want you to get out of this. Because when you start to change your thinking and your language, your life will follow along. So let's dive in. The first recipe that we have today is an easy energy bowl. And I'm actually going to move you over here because it, I just have all of my breakfast stuff over here. So bear with me as I move you around my chaotic kitchen. It is not pretty sometimes. This is really a lot of what Sundays look like here in our in our kitchen. I don't know where to put you. Here, let's try this. We sometimes we improvise, and I'll point you down here. So in this recipe we have a half a cup of oats. You can either cook them. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna refrigerate this into like an overnight bowl. I'll probably eat it tomorrow. Or maybe Glenn will. That's my husband. I can't remember if I said his name. Anyway, this recipe is a half cup of cooked oats, or a half cup of just dry oats. These are brand new, so they're not open. Then we have Greek yogurt. You can measure, I would recommend at least a half a cup to be able to get enough protein in there for you. I'll probably do like around a cup, probably. And then a half a cup of milk. I'll use almond milk, which I need to get out of the fridge. Chia or flax seeds, and I don't know if you know this. We do our shopping at Wegmans. If you don't have access to a Wegmans, don't worry about it. You can just measure out your chia seeds, but I'm just going to use this. This is 12 grams, which I guess is just short of like a tablespoon. I think a tablespoon is typically like around 15 grams. I know that because I measure my food. But um, so if you are measuring things out, if you don't like chia seeds, you can use flax. You can use ground ones. These are not ground, but you can use ground ones. I know some people are like weirded out by the texture of chia seeds, but the point of the chia seeds is they are healthy fat, but they also have extra fiber. Protein and fiber together really work wonders for your metabolism, for your digestive health, for helping us feel like satisfied and the best energy. When you have enough protein and fiber, they work together in order to help you feel fuller longer, and just everything works a lot better. It helps balance out your blood sugar, and then your energy is stable for longer. So knowing that pairing protein and fiber, and that's kind of where I chose all of these from. They all are protein and fiber rich recipes. Okay. And then there's an optional cinnamon, which I can't, anytime there's an option of cinnamon, it's like garlic, I'm going to use it. All right. So let's start out. I'm going to just use one of these. I think this should be enough. Though I don't know where the top is. So I've just got one of these. You can also use a mason jar if you're going to throw it in. You can measure out. I always have a thing in right in here because I use oatmeal almost every day. Again, it's a great source of fiber, carbohydrates, that energy that our body needs. So half a cup there. I'm going to leave it dry. I'm going to grab my almond milk. Pick it up. This is half of a cup, and I would do it in this order so that the milk soaks into the oats. So I have half a cup of almond milk. Okay, go ahead and pour that in. And then yogurt. You can use flavored yogurt if you want to, but it's up to you. Whatever. I'm just going to use plain. And um I have a cup, so we'll measure that out. I'll do a half a cup probably, actually. Set a full cup, but you can do anywhere between a half a cup and a full cup of yogurt. So there we are. All right. So there's my yogurt. We're gonna put that right in. And then at this point in the recipe, I would recommend starting to mix everything together so that especially if you're using the dry oats and you're gonna refrigerate them, if you have cooked oats, by the way, a tip for that, I do this every day, honestly. I measure this out, and I know you're not really supposed to do that because these are old-fashioned oats that I'm using. You probably could not do this with steel cut oats. But what I do every day is I measure it out and I put water in it and I let the water soak in for a little bit and you can see them start to the oats start to puff up, on their own. Usually I go down and I do my workout, which is around half an hour to 45 minutes long. I come back up and then I put a little bit more water in and I just microwave them for about 45 seconds and that cooks them through to my liking. If you like them mushier, I would do more water for longer in the microwave, but that's typically how I cook my oats. I never like do it on the stove or anything like that. So just a tip. All right. Next, we have the frozen berries. You can also use any other fruit that you prefer here. Actually, before I do this, I'm gonna do the mix the chia seeds into to this again. Can you see this? So I bought these bags knowing that I was going to be doing this live demo. So it was just kind of like a cheat for convenience. But it's pretty neat. I don't have to measure anything. Again, I'm talking to anybody who has access to whatever. And chia seeds also are, and flax seeds are kind of like a little on the pricier side. So you don't feel if you can't afford chia seeds or whatever, or you can't find them at your local store, don't worry about it. Just leave them out of this. You're still going to get plenty of fiber from the berries and from the oats, and it's still going to be great. This just adds to the texture, it adds to the healthy fats, it adds to the fiber, and it just rounds out this meal a little bit more. Anyway, okay. Then we're going to do a half a cup of the fruit. This is just frozen berries. Um, Frozen berries also, I know a lot of people prefer fresh, but they're definitely more expensive and they go bad quickly. I don't know, if you experience that, but they go bad really fast. And in terms of the nutritional content, frozen is probably better because they haven't sat on a truck or sat out in the store. You know what? I'm gonna throw in another cup because it looks like it can fit and it'll just be more fiber, more nutrients, and more tasty. That's you can put in as many or as little as you want. Now look, that goes all the way to the top. I'm gonna just top this off with some cinnamon and then it's finished. You can throw it right into the fridge and let it kind of simmer. Or if you did the cooked oats, I can bring you up now. If you did the cooked oats, then it's ready for you to eat at this point, which is kind of amazing, right? I don't even know where we're at in terms of time, but that didn't take very long to make. There you go, breakfast. If you want, you can always do like a big batch of these. It is kind of messy. And it's a lot of food. It's a lot of food. So I think that's the other thing is when you're eating nutrient dense foods, it's lower in calorie than say like a donut or a muffin, and you're getting so many more nutrients and beneficial like vitamins. There's antioxidants in here that there's all that fiber that you wouldn't get for the same amount for less amount of calories than you would like going through the drive-through. There you go. It's going right in the fridge. Okay, breakfast is done. Anyway, I didn't get to oh, one more thing is if you're somebody who for that specifically who likes sweetness, I would say you could also add in like stevia or a little bit of maple syrup or honey just to sweeten it just a little bit. I personally don't like things to be too sweet. But I do know some people would eat that and be like, especially with just plain yogurt, they might think that's too tart or it doesn't have enough sweetness, even though there's berries in it. So I am giving you permission and the freedom to adjust. Just know that if you are adding sugars to your meals, then it's going to up the calorie count. Everybody's goals are different. I'm not here to tell you what to do in terms of that because that's not my role as a coach. My role as a coach is to give you education and information and allow you to make the choices that feel right for you, um, based on your tastes, your preferences, what you have access to, and cheer you along the way. All right, so that is breakfast. Next, we have antipasto chickpea salad. So this is super easy. It's really flavorful. It almost tastes, I'm gonna move you back over here. It's just better. I don't know if I can actually get you up here, but if I can, it'd be ideal. It's not gonna work. This is the power of being the chaos of being live. All right, let's see. What can we do? Maybe I can put you in here. That's what I might do. Okay. All right, so the antipasta salad, we start actually with the dressings. So let me grab a couple more things because I forgot. While we're going through this, I want to also give you the opportunity to think of questions that you might have for me. If you're not familiar with meal planning, you might like wonder some things. So the the box is open for you to ask questions. I just wanted to throw that out there. All right. So for this, we start with the dressing. You just actually put the dressing in the bottom of your cube bowl. Okay. So we start with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. If you want, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to cut it down to just 1. I find that that's plenty of fat, especially because we're going to be adding mozzarella to this. Then 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. So that's easy. Here it is, half a teaspoon. You can do more if you want. If you want more flavor and you want more flakes, do more. Garlic. So we personally buy this giant thing of garlic, already minced garlic. It makes life really easy. So that is half a teaspoon equals 1 clove of garlic. Again, if you want to use more, go for it. All right, now we are on to Dijon mustard. That is a tablespoon. And this, it squirted me. This makes it the dressing like very nice and creamy. And we use it a lot, obviously, because we're almost out of it. The boys moved upstairs. In case you didn't notice, it got a lot quieter because the boys moved upstairs. Um, that's kind of them. Anyway, next. So these are all to your taste. So next is red pepper flakes. If you don't like spicy, just skip this step. We like a little bit of spice in our house. We are at salt and pepper. So I can't find our salt and pepper grinder. Oh, found it. We're low on pepper. So just do it to your taste. No big deal. Don't need to measure this one. And then what you do is you just grab your whisk it all together. Here you go. And you just leave it there. Just leave it there because this is the bowl that you're going to mix everything else into. Okay. All right. Next, we have the actual salad part. So you are going to go with a head of romaine lettuce. I'm just going to use what I have that was going bad. I have no idea how much this is, but I would say it's probably about a head of romaine lettuce. Okay. Then we've got 2 cups of baby spinach. So pack it in there. This does make a really big salad. And this can be anywhere from like 4 to 6 servings. It just depends. If you're going for a meal, you can eat the bigger salad. Or if you just really like and need more volume to eat, fine, go for it. So that's your two, 2 cups of packed baby spinach. I skipped over, so we have chickpeas, which are drained and rinsed right here. I did prepare a little bit ahead, just knowing it was gonna be a lot. Throw those right in there. Then we have this says a cup of artichoke hearts. I'm just gonna use a whole. I buy the can, but if you buy like a full like I know at Wegmans they have frozen ones, you can roast those. I'm just gonna throw the whole can in. Again, you can kind of make this what it is and what you need out of it. So I'll just use the whole can. This one is 14 ounces net weight. Okay. Throw it in there. There's like a little tiny bit of brine, which is going to add to the flavor, which is awesome. And that's another reason why I would suggest getting the can, because it's just that brine is really just going to go and mesh well in there. Next, we have 2 cups of mozzarella. So I told you I forgot mozzarella. I forgot to add that. We had a party here a couple weeks ago, and we have this pepperoni marinara. And honestly, I feel like that goes pretty well. So, oops, that's okay. I'm going to use what I have. I'm not going to use 2 cups of it. I'll probably just cut like half of that off and dice it up. So give me a minute to get that done. By the way, if you're wondering where I got this, I found it at Aldi if you want to go get it for yourself. This is like a semi-soft cheese, and so on the inside, it has little pieces of pepperoni. And in case you didn't get to look at the recipe yet, the recipe does have pepperoni in it. I did buy pepperoni and I need to pull that out. So this just fits. This was like an actually awesome mistake because it's just gonna work for this salad. So I'm cutting it up into little squares at this point. And I will just toss it in and let it kind of mix in. I have no idea how much this is. And if you are monitoring your calories, you might want to know what that is. Weigh it, measure it, whatever. I'm not too worried about it at this point. I do track my calories, but I'm just not too worried about it for this because we're live and whatever. But if you have the time and have also goals that you're working towards in terms of weight loss or fat loss, which is kind of the same thing, right? Weigh it or measure it and track it because if you're not tracking, you're not going to know where you're falling short. Okay. You see there's the pepperoni in there. It's also like there's some sort of coating on the outside that's like very Italian. So this goes very well. What else? So next, then after that, we have salami or pepperoni. So that's half of a cup. Let me grab that. Where is that pepperoni there? Um, you can buy whatever you want. I ended up getting the uncured turkey pepperoni from Applegate. That's just what we prefer. Again, no judgment. You get what you can find, get what you can afford, get what you like. And there's no shame in it. So then you do a cup of this, you slice it up thin because it just goes better in a salad. You can slice it up or quarter it, whatever. I'm actually going to do about a quarter cup just because there's pepperoni in that mozzarella. And I'll just do like thin little slices, kind of like almost like matchsticks. I'll show you it in a second. Kind of wish that you could see this bigger, but this is the way that it's going. It's like little ribbons. Okay. Okay. Pepperoni is in there. Next is tomatoes. And to be honest, we have a ton of homegrown tomatoes. So I am just going to use those. This is a cup of, I think the recipe says like cherry or grape tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomatoes. I don't even know, these aren't even, this is kind of like huge cherry tomatoes, honestly. So a cup of those, chop those up. I'm going to do halves or quarters. These are pretty big, so I'll probably do quarters. Just again, we like smaller bite size, but if you like bigger chunks, leave it halved. That's perfectly fine. I know a lot of people, some people don't like tomatoes. There's anything in the recipe that you don't like or you want to substitute, do it. Okay, there we are. That is our tomatoes. At this point, I'm gonna kind of like just kind of go like this and mix it up. Actually, maybe not too much because there's dressing underneath there. Okay, so then that leaves us with olives, which I'm not going to add. We don't really like those, to be honest, but if you like olives, this is a great opportunity to add them in. Also, one thing that I do like to do in place of olives sometimes is capers, and we do have those, but I'm just not going to add them. It adds that tasty, briny, salty to this. So if you like that and you love olives, add them. I'm going to skip them. Again, just showing you you don't need to have it perfect. We have left pepperoncini, which if you don't like spicy, you can leave that out. And then a red onion, which I have the red onion out, so I'll do that first. And that is just a quarter cup of red onion. Just slice that really quickly. Not really even going to get too fancy with this one. Just like big chunks of red onion. If you like it really well chopped, then chop it finely. It doesn't really matter. Just go with your preference. Also, I'm just being a little bit lazy because we're live. I want to show you that it's okay to just take the shortcuts if you need to. And then the pepperoncini. We do like spices, so add pepperoncini. Just like four of them, I think. And that's all we have left. Another thing that I'm going to do is just kind of do one of these. That's just a tip. If you like that kind of thing, in case you missed it because you looked away, I just added some of the pepperoncini brine like straight into there. It's delicious. All right, so we only have four pepperoncinis left. You just slice them thin and throw them in. They just add like extra texture, extra taste and flavor. Okay, that's it. That's the whole recipe. Again, like I said before, you can then what you want to do is kind of just take it and mix it up. Or you know what? Speaking of lazy, we're just gonna do we're just gonna do this because it works. If you want more protein, you can obviously add any protein to this that you feel like obviously chicken would go well. Even like sliced turkey meat would probably go well because it's antipasto. So that's like any kind of lunch meat. Ham might go well in this too. So you kind of like let it let it sit. You can eat this immediately, but we're actually gonna just let it sit, and this is gonna be our dinner probably tomorrow because we're going out to dinner tonight. So yeah, just let it go, let it marinate. in there. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Here. Oh my God, it smells so good. That's a huge bowl of salad, a huge bowl of salad. Okay, we are at 9:35 and we're already done with two meals. So simple, right? And that's, again, I hope you're seeing how much, like, this is a lot of food. These servings are big, or you can make many smaller servings to feed more people if you have that kind of family. So if you are doing like a grilled chicken, do a side of grilled chicken or a side of like grilled fish or something like that. And that will also just really make that a full rounded, well-rounded out meal. All right, we are finally on to dinner, which is the last recipe. So we are doing Cajun rice and beans. So let me clean up just a quick hot hot minute and get some of these things out of the way. And again, leave you the opportunity to ask questions. I know Shauna is on live and she has a copy of the cookbook. So Shauna, if you have anything to say about the cookbook, add or anything like that, I'll give you the space to say something. And if you don't want to, that's also fine. Cleaning up just the tiniest bit. Because there is one thing that goes along with meal prep, and that is a messy kitchen. So, I haven't figured out how to avoid that part. It's just part of the deal. All right. All right. I think we're ready to dive in. So, full disclosure, um, I this recipe originally does not have any protein built into it. Besides, there is there's beans in it, so that's not true. There is beans in it, and beans have protein and fiber, and they're a really great option. Sorry, I'm just trying to clean up a little bit more. Make some space and have a way to kind of put you down where you can also still see what's going on. Because in addition to the chaos, we have a stove that the front burners are not like the greatest. So before I started this, I made a some ground turkey. We had it already and we wanted to use it. So I am going to add this to the Cajun rice and beans for additional protein. So that's a tip. If you don't have that and you want to make just the rice and beans, um, go for it. That is a hearty recipe on its own. You could also, I did buy this, forgetting that we had the turkey, ground turkey. You could buy a can of this and add it to add more protein. It would be good to just kind of mix in. This is, again, another way to get protein that's nutritious. This is 98% fat-free chicken breast. It's already cooked. It's like tuna. You drain it and then you use it. I wouldn't just eat it plain like that. I would like definitely mix it into a dish with flavor. Um, I honestly do love to use this chicken breast for like buffalo chicken dips or a chicken salad. So that's a cheap thing. It's also really affordable. I think that was like $4 maybe. So maybe that's not technically too affordable, but $2 or $3 for chicken, versus like, there's no prep involved, so you can save some time. It's a convenience option. Another good protein that would go well with this meal, in particular, the Cajun beans and rice. If you don't want to eat beef, would be fine, but I'm thinking like andouille sausage. You can find that like a spicy sausage would go really well, especially I'm thinking andouille because, Cajun, right? So, with that said, now we can move on. Feel free, again, like I've been saying this whole time, to kind of customize and do your own thing. All right. In the recipe for the Cajun rice and beans, it calls for a can of kidney beans. So I do have dark red kidney beans. I buy the one with no salt added, but get whatever you need. Like I've been saying, no shame. So drain and rinse those out. And then in the recipe, a um, there's also, it says, fire roasted diced tomatoes, which I'm not even going to use those today. Like I just showed you, and you can see here, we have a ton of homegrown tomatoes, and I'm going to make use of that. If it's not tomato season and I don't have access to that, those diced tomatoes are a go-to. I have those because we just keep them. We just keep them in our pantry. And to be honest, in the course that I was talking about, I talk about the pantry staples and having pantry staples like these that are really shelf stable and useful for being able to just come up with really quick, nutritious options. Even if like you forget to thaw the meat the next day, you can make a chili out of these two things and throw beans together, right? All of those, and then the rice you can throw that together in with a little bit of money and a little bit of thought and a little bit of time. And there's again, this is the changing of the thought process of if I just have these things on hand and in the pantry, that I don't need to worry or I don't need to stress about fueling myself well. That's a really quick, really easy, doable option, right? So I'm gonna put these back because I don't need them right now. And I'll use them at a different time. And um, then we've got 1.5 cups of cooked rice. I cheated, and I'm going to give you a good like cheat option. I got this steamables. You can throw it in the microwave, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw this all in the skillet right now. This is one where you do need to cook it. And I'll just cook it really quick, warm it up really quickly in the pan, which it's the same pan that I cooked the ground turkey in. So you only need to use one pan. And so what I'll do is I'm gonna just toss this rice, which I honestly have no idea if it's 1.5 cups of rice. I'm not worried about that. But again, if you're tracking your calories and you are need to know about that, you can. I also wanted to mention that if you want to add volume or add vegetables, you can use cauliflower rice. You can use cauliflower rice in place of the regular rice if you want to. This is up to you. It's just a choice. I'm not going to throw it in there, but you can, and I wanted to show you that. That's again another option. It's like not a pantry item, but it kind of is. It can go and it can stay in your freezer and you can add it to your meals and add that volume to it, add those veggies to it, it'll make your meal bigger. If you're somebody who likes to eat a lot of food or wants to feel like they're eating a lot of food, it's a way to just kind of like reduce your calories, up your fiber, up the things that are really good for you. Cauliflower is great for digestion. It's great for a lot of things because, right, it's a vegetable. So I'm just moving around the rice here. And that is really simple. So you can actually move it off. It seems like it's ready to go because it's basically thawed out. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I am just going to um, chop some of these tomatoes here. Think we've got about like 1.5 cups here. But again, I'm not worried about it. Just chop them kind of like the way that they would be in the can, which is a rough chop kind of. And this angle is horrendous. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm getting my squats in while I'm doing this. All right. All right. One. All right. So all said and done, this is going to be about 2 cups of tomatoes. So if you're somebody who is doing going the route of the fresh tomatoes, you want to use up your garden tomatoes too. I would say do about 2 cups. And I think that's probably close to what's in the can anyway. Um, the nice thing about tomatoes is it's going to add to the juices. Like the juices will add to the flavor. Whether you're using the can or not, I would say just dump the whole can with the juices in. Don't drain the tomatoes for this one. I wouldn't. But if you don't kind of like that, then do what your preference is. All right. I'm gonna move you back over here. Maybe? No, back over here. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is add in the drained kidney beans and kind of just mix everything around here. Okay. See what you can see there. Hopefully something that you can see. If you want, and you want a little bit of extra flavor, you could toss in some like chicken or beef or vegetable broth for like the tiniest bit of flavor, and it might help deglaze the pan if you want to do that. All right, so I'm gonna let that simmer a little bit, and then I'm gonna toss in the Cajun salt or Cajun seasoning flavoring. Okay, I made it myself. You can buy it, I think, but I just made this myself. It's really easy. What I did was a half a teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, smoked paprika, or you can use regular paprika, but this is Cajun, so I was really actually going for that smoky flavor, especially since I didn't use the fire roasted tomatoes in this one. Um, so smoked paprika, and I think that's it. Oh, and a little bit of cayenne. So if you like spice, go ahead and add cayenne too. It'll give it that just like tiny extra kick. Okay. So this is great. Now, then at the end, you can add in your protein. So hopefully this will all fit. This is just over a pound, not quite a pound and a half of lean ground turkey. So mixing that in, probably not the best tool for this. I'm learning. Whatever. This is what we do while we're live. Oh, I also have salt in this too. A half a teaspoon of salt also. Since I didn't have it before, I do want to also add black pepper. And again, this is another filling meal. If you added cauliflower rice to this, this would only just like up the ante and up the nutritional value and the volume. So this makes 4 servings. And okay, so yes, in the notes in the additional serving options is served with the side of veggies, green beans, asparagus, cauliflower, or broccoli would be great. Up the protein by adding shrimp. We can't do that. My husband's allergic to shellfish, but if you can, that's also a great addition instead of the ground turkey or other options I told you about. Shrimp is a great one. Obviously, this is very, very Cajun and appropriate, or beef, which I told you about, right? So that's sausage. I just thought of that. I almost bought that, but then I knew that I was going to use that ground beef. Anyway, that's it. That's a huge, again, it's a huge pan. So that's it. All right, we are under an hour, and I knew it. I knew that it really it doesn't take that long. So many people just convince themselves that it's so hard and it takes so long, and it doesn't. It's gonna probably take me as long to clean this all up, but we have meals. This is our Monday meal. I don't usually do this. I usually cook the day that we're gonna eat, and then we put the way that we do it is we do 2 servings of the meal and then 2 servings away. Right now, Wesley doesn't really eat with us. He's not consistently eating with us, although he is trying more thanks to school. Peer pressure is a real thing for 3 and 4 and 5 year olds in a good way, especially when it comes to eating and just in general for behaviors. Sometimes. Sometimes they learn other behaviors that aren't helpful from each other. But in terms of trying new foods, especially if you go to a daycare where they provide the food, which they do for him, it's super, super helpful. And it's been helpful in exposing us to new foods for him. So if you have the option to put your kids, especially if they're picky with foods, into a program where they cater and they serve food, I can't say enough about how helpful that has been with exposing him to more foods. Did take him a while, and I know we're kind of getting off topic, but it I know I'm talking to a lot of moms and probably moms of young kids, and that has been really a game changer for me. Plus, it also just helps me because I don't have to prepare food for him and hope, is he going to eat this? And all of that stuff. But the goal is that as he continues to try more, we're learning what he likes. Now we know he likes corn, he likes rice. He will eat I mean, he's always eaten spaghetti, so that's easy, and he'll eat that there and he'll eat that here. Um, the idea is that once we know more of what he does like and what he'll try at school, we're going to try to make 6 of each or 5 of each, because he doesn't need a serving at school, so it doesn't necessarily need to be 6. It can be 5, and he can eat dinner with us. Honestly, his serving can be a half because that's probably about what's appropriate for him. Anyway, that's the point, is we're trying to think ahead of how to eventually move into, as it's more developmentally appropriate for him and he's able to do that and handle that, for us to all be able to eat the same meal and I can just cook one thing, and that would be really helpful. That's the goal. All right, so that's what it is. Any questions, comments, suggestions? There it is.
In your course, but like, do you have just a quick rundown of some of the stuff that you guys keep like in the pantry?
Uh, Yeah, so I could do that. I could do a little bit of that now. So I showed you some of them, and this is really where we do a lot of that, like pastas, whole grain pastas, rices. We have a ton of those. But like those cans of beans, cans of and I'm talking about like chickpea beans. Like if I'm buying like green beans, I buy frozen. And that's a lot of what I talk about that in the course. I talk about the benefits of buying frozen, which I did with the berries, right? Um, I find that they, in general, they're cheaper for sure. But they're picked at peak freshness and then they're flash frozen. So those nutrients are right in there. And you don't have to worry about them spoiling or going bad if you don't get to eat them. It's not like a bag of lettuce where if you don't get to them, or these bags of tomatoes, right? If you don't get to them, they go bad. That's the benefit also of having those canned tomatoes. You know they're not going to go bad, and they're there. They're also there in a pinch if like you just forget to plan something, or whatever. Tempeh and tofu are also really great options in terms of proteins. Like we freeze all of our meats and things like that, and then we just take them out so that they don't go bad the night before we're going to use them. We keep a meal planner, and like Glenn and I will just intentionally be like, oh, we need to get the chicken out, or we need to get the beef out, or whatever. Um, so we help each other in that fact. And so those are some of the staples. I can send you the pantry staples. Anybody who wants that, just send me a message or an email and request that, and I'll send it to you for free. I created it. It's part of the course. But I'll send you the pantry staples for free, even if you don't buy the course, if that would help, because I care.
Yeah, I think we're trying to figure out like what staples we could keep like in the pantry just because Caitlin's like 1, so now she's like up and mobile and like things don't always happen the way we will plan out sometimes. So just having like staples around for quick, easy meals, even just like lunches and stuff like that on the weekends. So
Yeah. those rice packets are great. They're really like, then you don't have to cook the rice, but you can that look how quick that was. That look at how quick that was, and I if I didn't have the time to prepare that turkey and I didn't have the time or the tomatoes, you can just pull them from your, oh my gosh, that could be done in 10 minutes. And that's the point. I really the point of this is to show how quick it can be done. That's 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner for several days. Not the breakfast, but I could have spent time and made 5 of those, and it wouldn't have taken me that much longer. And you just grab them and you go. You need mason jars and stuff like that to be able to do that. But if you have it, do it. It's a really, really, really,
Yeah,
really great
yeah.
option.
I
And
will say, like anybody that's listening, that's what we do. We do overnight oats like almost every single day for breakfast, and we throw it in mason jars, and it's quick, easy. We throw yogurt in the morning, and my husband can take it, and I can eat it around the house. Like that's one thing we've just learned. And then you're able to switch up like fruits and stuff in it. Like the base is there, and then we'll switch up. Maybe we'll do a flavored yogurt for the week, or we'll do different fruit for the week, and then it gives you that variety, but it's still like a staple. So
yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's so proof, right? She's living life with a 1-year-old. And if you've been through that, or even if you haven't been through that, that takes a lot of time and attention and energy. And it doesn't need to be an excuse. You just have to have that mindset that despite the 1-year-old, despite whatever it is, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do it. And sometimes that requires you to ask for help. I do go into that in the course and how I wouldn't be as successful without my husband being on board. We plan the meals together, so there's compromise involved, and it's a huge part of. And even though I'm the one who's really doing a lot of the cooking right now, if he were home, and there have been times in our life where he was working from home and he did most of the cooking. So your seasons will ebb and flow, and you just decide to work together in the ways that you can. And sometimes, depending on your situation, it's going to fall on one of the partners more. And if you want it badly enough, if that's you, you'll step up and you'll make it happen. It's a mindset thing. So I want to wrap it up because I don't need to take more of your time. I've shown you that this doesn't take that long. I want to thank you first and foremost for being here, or like live. Shauna, thank you for sharing and spending your time with me. You could have been doing anything else, and I really appreciate you being here. And I know there's a lot of people who wanted to be here who are at a yard sale or doing other things that are going to spend an hour with me on the replay. And thank you so much. Like, that's the point, is I want to get this content out to people to be able to help you feel empowered. Um, I know your plate is full, and the fact that you showed up, it means that you are serious about taking that next step, making your wellness a priority. And I want to say that that matters, and I'm really proud of you for doing that. Um, I think the I talked about the course and the cookbook, and I really just want you to know from everything that I've shared, the recipes and the strategies, they came directly from those things. So if you want more and if you're looking for more, the cookbook has 32 simple recipes. They're realistic. I use them all the time, and especially when I'm really time crunched. But you can also use them when you have a lot of time. Sometimes some of them they take longer to make, and or you can just take the time that you have and leisurely make them and not feel like you need to be rushed. They're still good, they're still tasty. That's why they're in there. The mini course, it gives you that exact framework, the one that we follow. I'm really exposing a little bit more of how we plan, how we go through the pantry and go through the freezer. And I literally did that last night. I said, look, these are the things we have and the things that we need to use. These are going to go bad. We go through the fridge, and in the course, I'm literally in this kitchen right here. I'm just facing this way, with my phone, so it's not as awkward, walking you through those things. So the cookbook on its own is $19. The course on its own is $29. They're meant to be affordable. There's six in the course, there's 6 videos. So it's a mini course. All of them are under 10 minutes. They are captioned. There it comes with a course workbook. It comes with, like my tips for saving money. I'm kind of going off script here, but anyway, it's really just meant to help you make meal planning doable even when life feels crazy, along with the those tips for planning, shopping, prepping, and saving money. And a lot of that has to come with, like, buy frozen, buy canned, use your pantry, like go from the things that you have because you're going to save money at the store, and make a list. Make a freaking list because you're not going to buy as much crap at the store because you know what you're there for. Anyway, if you're ready to go all in or you want any of those, like the discounted bundle for both of those together, if you bought them separately, it would cost 50. I have a discounted bundle for 45. Um, if you already bought one and you want the discounted bundle, we'll work that out. I know you're in that boat, Shauna, and if you're interested in the course, we'll work something out where it's a discounted bundle. Actually, you know what? If you're on this, I'll give you a link code to get both of them for 40. Just because you're here. This is only available to anybody who watched the replay, who's on my email list, and or for Shauna, who's here. So um, that's available to you too. Anyway, the idea is to give you those strategies, those tools, those skills to feel confident, and like it's sustainable. So you're not feeling like you're starting over every single week, or just saying, "Oh, I feel lazy. Let's go to the drive-through." Well, that ends up being more expensive, and it's not healthy, or helpful. And not that you can't do that once in a while. Sometimes you just want that. And sometimes you just want to go out to eat. And I'm not trying to take that away from you. But I am saying that if you're doing that more often than not only is it impacting your bottom line when it comes to your finances, because that's expensive, it is using more of your time. I just showed you how much it doesn't take. And you are also, like, nothing is healthier than you eating at home. It's just not, because you can control how much oil, how much extra fats, how much size of your portions, right? Anyway, I hope that you leave this knowing that you don't need perfect circumstances in order to feel good in your body, or to feed your family well. You just really need the right tools and support. And I made this workshop and built those additional resources so that you can feel empowered and in control again. It doesn't feel good to feel out of control, especially when it comes to your energy and your wellness. But that's why I'm here. Decide what feels right for you. The cookbook, the course, the bundle, or even just this workshop. This is enough. If this is what you can afford right now, this is enough. I'm not here to shame anybody or pressure anybody into purchasing if that's not where you're at. I hope it's really clear that my mission is to meet the masses where they're at, which is why I'm offering free workshops back to back, like month to month. Okay? The PDF guide, you get that. And also, again, reminder, if you want the pantry staples, it's a free PDF that I created that goes with the course. But if you're not in a position to purchase the course, I'll send it to you for free. Just email me and remind me, because I will not remember. Um, anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see how you use them. So keep me in the loop on what recipes you're loving, even if it's just from this. If you try this, or you change it and you try it with the shrimp, or you try it with the sausage, let me know. I really am interested in cheering you on no matter where you're at. Okay? Thank you.